Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I know we're all tired, and I'm making you listen to me in English, so I appreciate it. So my name's Matt, and I'm a DeepCrawl customer success manager. So I look after all of our clients based in Turkey and the UK, and make sure that they all know how to use our tool properly, make sure they're all happy with how everything works. How many of you are familiar with DeepCrawl? Have you? Yeah, quite a few of you. So for those of you that don't know who we are, we're a software company that focuses on technical SEO. So we're a web crawler that emulates the way that search engines crawl websites and give you visibility on how to optimize your site to improve your search results. So we now have over 1,000 customers globally, including clients like Uber and eBay, so some pretty big clients now. And in Istanbul alone, we have 50 clients, and we're lucky enough to have some of them here today. So any of our DeepCrawl customers that I haven't met, please come and say hello at the end. I'd love to have a chat. And today, I'm going to talk to you about building your search universe. So the search universe is something that we've been talking a lot about at DeepCrawl recently. And over the next 20 minutes, I'm going to cover the following things. So I'm going to talk about what is the search universe, what does that mean, and how you can define your own search universe. And lastly, bringing everything together to get the bigger picture on your site's technical health. So, firstly, we had this question at DeepCrawl: what is the search universe? The search universe is every potential URL that could possibly exist out there. So on every single website, every domain, and even websites that don't exist yet, how many URLs can there possibly be? So we took this question very seriously, and we thought about what are the actual limits of the search universe. So to start off with, we had to break down the anatomy of a URL. So to start with, we've got the scheme, which can be 4 to 5 characters. So that's your HTTP, your HTTPS. Secondly, we've got the domain name, which can be a maximum of 253 characters. There's 1,002 delegated TLDs, so top-level domains, those are your .coms, your .trs, your .co.uk's. And then, including the path name, we can have a total of 2,083 characters within a single URL. So you can see already there's a lot of different potential to have many, many different URLs. So we came up with this formula to work out the actual number of how many URLs this could possibly be. And we put this into Excel, and it came up with an error. So a lot of us struggle with Excel sometimes, and it doesn't do exactly what we want it to do. So moving on from Excel, I went to Google and put this calculation into Google's calculator. And it came up with quite an helpful answer: infinity, which isn't a very definitive number. And then, so finally, I went to Wolfram, which is a mathematical programming tool. And it finally gave us this number. So the total potential number of URLs is 7.956366796670821 times 10 to the power of 3848. It's a ridiculous number. It's kind of impossible to understand. So to put that in some kind of perspective, does anybody know where Google gets its name from? Anybody in the room know where Google got its name from? What was Google before Google? So Google is actually a number. The Google number is 10 to the power of 100. So this is also a very serious number. And the Google number is actually greater than the total number of particles in our universe. In the physical universe, the known universe, this is greater than each individual particle. But you put this next to the search universe, and it looks tiny. So you can see that the potential number of URLs is enormous. And what this means for SEO, in terms of searching for URLs and making sure that URLs are found, the search universe is an impossibly large and complex space. So how do you define your own search universe? Part of that is in the tools that we use. So day to day, we use loads of different tools. This is the Martech 5000, which is the marketing technology landscape from last year. And all of these little dots is a bit too small for you to see. Each one of these represents a different tool. So you can see this landscape is vast. There's so many different tools at our fingertips. And within SEO itself, we now have over 100 dedicated SEO tools. Now, this is a pretty upsetting image. It's kind of hard to look at. We have, as SEOs, quite a good idea of which are the best tools that we use and what works best for our websites. But sometimes the way that we use them aren't exactly the most optimized way of looking at our data. So often we've got one piece of software over here, one over here, one over here, and we're looking at them all, and it can be quite complicated and definitely inefficient. So this is a much nicer image, and let's look at how we can bring all the different sources together efficiently to save you time and ultimately give you better insights into the websites that you're managing. So this is a visual representation of the search universe. So in the middle, we've got crawl data, which at DeepCrawl, we're obsessed with crawl data. We're a crawler. We talk about crawl data all the time. But for those of you that don't know what that means, it's basically all the URLs that you can find on your site. Every URL that you can find by clicking through a site. So at the center of this universe is you, your site. And around that are the different tools that you're using. So we've got search data, which shows you the performance of search results. So are most of you using Google Search Console? Yeah? Secondly, we've got customer data, so your analytics platforms showing you performance. I'm assuming most of you using Google Analytics? Yeah, a few nods. Anybody Adobe? Any Adobe users? One? Here we go, two. Cool, so moving on, we've got backlink data. For anyone that doesn't know what that means, backlinks are any links from external domains that link to your site. So all of the links flowing into your site, referring traffic to your pages. So here we've got tools like Majestic and Ahrefs. And then finally, we're looking at Googlebot data. So here we're looking at server logs and how you can use Googlebot requests to give you a better idea of how crawlers are using your site. So building your search universe. Firstly, I want to tell you a story or a few stories about how you can build your own search universe with the tools that you're currently using. So for these examples, I'm going to be looking at Majestic for backlinks, Google Search Console for the traffic source, logs.io, which are a log file analyzer that we partner with at DeepCrawl for log summaries, and Google Analytics as our customer source. So firstly, episode 1, we're looking at optimizing backlinks and authority. So you might sense a theme here if any Star Wars fans are out there. So this section is about combining web crawl data with backlink data to get more insight from your site. So first I want to look at an example of backlinks to broken pages. So here we've got our data coming from Majestic. We've got thousands of backlinks pouring into this URL. So with that, it brings loads of authority and potential ranking factors to this site, to this page. But this page is actually a 404. It's a broken page, which is not your ideal user journey. And by combining your crawl data with your Majestic data, you can actually have awareness on this and know that these are the pages that you need to fix. And you can prioritize these pages with high backlinks so that you can make sure that your site's optimized for your search results. Secondly, another example, backlinks to a Nofollow page. So here, again, we've got all of these backlinks bringing authority and traffic into the site, but this page has been nofollowed. So this page actually links to 4 other pages. But because of this nofollow, these pages aren't getting any benefits from the authority that's flowing into this page. So there's a huge loss in potential there. None of the rest of the site is benefiting from this because of this nofollow tag. So having this visibility allows you to see how you can improve your rankings on the site. Another way to look at it is where do backlinks land on your site? So this page, in terms of depth, is sitting at level 43 within the site. So that means it will take a crawler or a user at least 42 clicks to reach this page within the website. That's a lot of clicks to get to this page. And secondly, we can see here, there's one link out of this page. So we've got all of these backlinks pouring in, this authority flowing in, but it's only linking to one page, and it's very deep in the site. So by identifying this page, we know that we can inform a linking structure to better link this page to help other pages on your site improve their rankings. Now, duplicate pages are something we talk about a lot at DeepCrawl. We're very good at flagging them. And they're a really good example of wasted crawl budget. So in other words, it's wasting Google's time. If you've got a duplicate page that you have 10 different versions of the same page, Google's seeing the same things over and over and over and over again. What you really want to do is make sure Google's spending its time finding new and unique and interesting content. So here we've got a URL that has over 800 backlinks pointing to it. And we've got another URL that's got around 450 backlinks pointing to it. Now, these are actually the exact same content. It's the same page, but it's just got a different URL. Now, the problem here is you're actually diluting the authority of these pages. Rather than one page ranking very highly and appearing in search results, they're both sitting down here. So what we can do is add a canonical tag, and all of a sudden, we've determined that this is the authoritative version, and all of those links are flowing through. And now this page has got over 1,000 backlinks. Because at the end of the day, what you want to do is appear on the first page of search results. No one cares about after that. And ideally, you want to be in the top 3. So you're better off merging these two that were sitting down here and having the authority up here, so you're actually appearing and people are seeing your site. So episode 2, we've been talking about log file data, and it's a great source of information on bot activity on the site, so search engine bot activity. So we've been talking about crawl budget, and here is a visualization of how to identify where crawl budget is being wasted on the site. So we've got these 2 overlapping circles, and on the right-hand side, we've got your non-indexable pages with Googlebot requests. So these are things that you've canonicalized, for example, that you've told Google that you don't want them to be indexed, but for some reason, Google's ignoring you. And the chances are, if you've set it to be no index, it's a low-value page. You don't want it to be appearing in search results. So this is good to be aware of. And then on the left-hand side, we've got indexable pages without Googlebot requests. So these are the pages you really do want in search results, but for some reason, they're not being crawled. And then in the middle, we've got this sweet spot. We've got the indexable pages with Googlebot requests. And this is really where you want your key content. So by combining your crawl data with your log data, you can actually have visibility on any of your high-value pages that aren't being indexed, and vice versa if you're wasting any of your crawl budget on low-value pages, and how you can put that right. So here's an example of low-value pages with lots of log requests. So we've got this URL here. It's got 1,000 requests in it, which means that we've got a load of impressions, which is then converted into a lot of views and traffic. But looking at it, it's got a very low deep rank. So at DeepCrawl, this is an internal metric, which is our internal version of PageRank. It tells you the internal authority of a page. And generally, if a page has a very low deep rank, it means it's not being linked internally very much, which indicates that it's a low-value page on the site. So this is a good way of identifying pages that maybe you want to change. Maybe they should be non-indexable if they're receiving all of these requests, but it's a low-value page. You want to prioritize Google's time spent elsewhere. And you can also use your log requests to find out which are your most crawled site sections. So we've got sitemaps, categories, products, the kind of usual sections that you would expect to be crawled more regularly. I love this photo. I think it's ridiculous. Another cool thing you can do is understand how bots are crawling your site using different user agents. So I actually am using the same slide as Ilyas for this, apparently, I noticed. I couldn't understand your Turkish version, but I'm sure you explained it very well. So mobile sites, we've got 3 different types. We've got responsive, dynamic, and separate mobile sites. So for responsive, we'd expect Google to be using both user agents on the same URL to validate the content on the validate they've got the same content. On dynamic sites, we'd expect them to be using both user agents on both the desktop site and the mobile site to validate that they have the same, validate the mobile version. And then lastly, your separate mobile sites, so your m.dot sites. We need to crawl those on both user agents, so the desktop on the desktop site and the mobile user agent on the mobile site to validate that the content matches. So using your crawl data with this log data, you can actually have awareness of any cases where this doesn't match up. So maybe you've got mobile user agents looking at your desktop sites or vice versa. So you have the awareness of which aren't being crawled properly with the right user agents. So this is our final episode, which is Search Console. So what can Google Search Console add? Here we've got Google Search Console, and we've got 1,000 clicks looking at this page, but this page has been disallowed. So we've got all of this authority flowing into a page, but with the disallow rule, none of this can actually be passed on to any pages past this disallow rule. And a lot of you might be working with developers or other people in the team that don't necessarily know the impact of SEO. And they might accidentally change something that has an impact on the site. So this is why crawling your sites regularly is really good for picking up on these problems that might not have been caused by you, but inadvertently by somebody else. Oh. Right, so you can also find poor experience pages with traffic. So Search Console here, we've got a load of clicks pointing into this page. And this is actually a discontinued product. So this is technically seen as a 404, it's a broken page. And the way Google will treat this is eventually it will de-index it. And once a page is de-indexed, it's very hard to re-index it. And thinking about the content here, think about your user journey, your user experience. If a lot of traffic's come into this page and it's finding a discontinued, think about your bounce rates. Probably people are going to leave, they won't have a very high time on site. So that won't then reflect in your sales and conversions. So here we've got about cutting low-quality content. So often we think that to improve the site, we just need to add things and add things and add new things. But often, cutting things can be just as powerful. So we've got this page here. It's got loads of clicks. It's indexed. And here you can see it's ranking as the second result on search results. But it's only got 100 words, and it's got an 88% bounce rate, and the average time on page is only 18 seconds. So this is clearly a very, very low value page. And the problem here is what you want to be doing is promoting your high quality content. You don't want people to be seeing their first view of your site as this terrible page. It's not reflective of how good the rest of your site is. So using your crawl data along with all these different sources that are around the site, you can identify these and fix this so that you've got a better representation of your site. So it's all well and good seeing and knowing what Google sees, but don't forget about consumer power. Google drives awareness, but people drive ROI. So in terms of conversions, it's the people that matter. So bear with me on this one. We've got a more advanced story about visits and backlinks. So we've got a URL that's got analytics data showing we've got loads of visits, but it's not being indexed. It's not appearing in search results, and it's got no backlinks. We've got another URL, which has got thousands of backlinks, and it's got loads of authority flowing into it. And this is actually a redirection chain that eventually lands at the first URL. But the problem here is this middle URL is disallowed, which, as we mentioned earlier, allows nothing to be passed through onto the first page. So because of that, this page is now losing out on a lot of potential. So what I'm trying to say is this is a victim of poor experience. Now, this is all well and good in terms of one URL. We can look at this complicated story and we can get that fixed. But when we're talking about a whole site, or scaling that up to the size of today's sites, which can be hundreds of thousands of URLs, or even millions, tens of millions of URLs, this can be a lot more complicated. And it's hard to trawl through all of that data manually and identify these problems. We can't rely on Excel spreadsheets and merging Excel and doing it all manually, manipulating the data, because we're all very busy and time is precious, and we just don't want to. What we're trying to avoid is Excel hell. So this is a place full of blood and tears and pivot tables, and we want to avoid this at all costs. So what we need is automation. And this is where technology comes in. So platforms like DeepCrawl that allow you to see all of this stuff, all of these parts of your search universe, all in one place, and bring all of that data together to have an informed impact on your site. So it doesn't have to be DeepCrawl. There are loads of crawlers out there, but we were the first, and we think that we're pretty good. So I'd like to encourage you to go out and build your own search universe and find all of those different constituent parts and bring them all together to improve your technical health. So at the moment, we have a very powerful free trial that you can see on the website. So please feel free to give it a go and start trying to build your own search universe. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Do you have any question for Matt or Ilyas also? Because we do have some questions on Twitter. And also, if you have some questions, we can direct ask to them. To Ilyas in Turkish, to Matt in English, if you like. Anyone? Okay. we have some questions on Twitter. I am going to ask them to both of you guys, to Ilyas and Matt. We have a question to Ilyas. Bunu Türkçe okuyabilirim direkt. AMP ile AdSense etkileşimi nasıl? Yani AMP'de aynı AdSense hesabını kullanarak ekstra gelir elde etmek mümkün mü diye bir soru gelmiş. There is a question related to AMP and Google AdSense integration. They direct ask to Ilyas, so this is why I just talk in English.
So, Türkçe cevap vereyim.
Aynen. Gel istiyorsun.
Soruyu tekrar alabilir miyim? Dinlemiyordum seni.
Açık sözün için. AMP ile AdSense etkileşimi nasıl olabilir? AdSense hesabımı kullanarak yine işte AMP'de bir entegrasyon yapabilir miyim şeklinde ekstra bir gelir elde edebilir miyim?
Şöyle bildiğim kadarıyla AMP konferansı düzenledi Google biliyorsunuz. Orada AdSense değil de biraz daha AdWords sayfalarının land olduğu sayfalar üzerinde bir optimizasyondan bahsetmişti. Yani AdSense üzerinde AMP aslında şöyle oluyor. Zaten sayfanızı AMP uyumlu yaptığınız zaman orada reklamda yayınlayabiliyorsunuz. Haliyle AdSense uyumlu sayfalarda da AMP çalışmış oluyor. Tam soruyu da anlayamadım ama.
Ya evet, biraz zaten Twitter'da bir karakter kısıtımız da olduğu için bir miktar öyle olabiliyor. Onun dışında şöyle bir sorumuz var. Biraz daha klasik olarak gündemde olan bir soru. Sosyal medya çalışmaları SEO'yu ne ölçüde etkiler şeklinde bir soru var. Also for you guys. Social media effects, do you have any effects on SEO or this kind of stuff? You can also answer the question.
What do you think
the relationship about the social media and SEO? If you have.
I think Ilyas had better take this one, to be honest.
Okay. Sosyal medya SEO'yu yani çok dolaylı olarak etkiliyor. Yani yapılan study'lerde de bu biraz tespit edildi. Çünkü işte geçen ay başında Fatih'in, Google'dan çalışan Fatih'in sunumunda da bahsetmişti. Yani stabil olmayan dataları sinyal olarak kullanmıyoruz diye. Haliyle sosyal medya datası da çok manipüle edilebilecek bir data. Haliyle atıyorum Facebook, Twitter'daki like oranları ya da Instagram'daki ya da Facebook'taki like ya da share oranları kolay yazılan bir botla bile manipüle edilebiliyor. O yüzden dolaylı olarak nasıl etkisi var? Atıyorum bir içerik ürettiniz. Google indekslemeden sosyal medyada çok fazla paylaşıldı. Bu haliyle burada çok fazla bir paylaşım ve etkileşim varsa dolaylı olarak search'te de göstermem mantıklı olur şeklinde burada bir sıralama kazandırabiliyor hızlıca. Ama
yani aslında biraz da Google'ın temel çalışma mantığı hani referans üzerine oluşan bir yapı olduğu için hani benim şahsi fikrim dediğin gibi hani direkt etkilemek gibi durumu yoktur diye tahmin ediyorum ama nihayetinde hani oradaki özellikle sosyal medyanın reklam tarafından bahsediyorum. Hani daha gerçekten istediğimiz bir kitleye alakalı reklamlı bir içerik sunabiliyorsak hani oradaki dönüşüm oranları daha yüksek olacağı için Analytics'e de keza sosyalden gelen trafiğin gerçekten kalite olarak Analytics üzerine, gerçi Fatih işte Analytics üzerinden çok fazla sıralama metriği kullanmamaya çalışıyoruz gibi bir şey demişti yanlış hatırlamıyorsam ama yine mantıken oradaki o gelen kullanıcı kalitesi çok daha yüksek olacağı için olumlu yönde etkiler diye düşünüyorum ama bildiğim kadarıyla Google'ın net bu şekilde bir açıklaması yok. Hani kullanıyoruz şeklinde. Aynen. Ama yani İlyas'ın dediği gibi böyle bir bağlantı olabilir.
Yine sosyal medya yani eğer hedef kitleniz için çok fazla aktif kullanılıyorsa, yani hedef kitleniz sosyal medyada varsa SEO'yu bir kenara bırakıp sizin de orada bulunmanız gerekiyor zaten.
Belki biraz daha aslında içerik platformlarının daha yoğun yapacağı bir şey
düşünebiliriz,
olabilir.
Evet.
Şimdi bu Facebook'un özgün habercilik sistemi deniyor ya, o backlink olarak önemli bir ölçüde etkiler mi?
Özgün habercilik nasıl? Tam
artık Facebook'ta AdSense gibi para kazanma ve makale yazılarını açtı ya, özgünlük, içerik kontrol gibi. Türkiye'de ve Avrupa'da.
Çalışmadığım yerden geldi. Şöyle, bununla ilgili haberciler için bir şeyler yapıyorlardı ama bunu yayına alındığını bilmiyorum. Yani siz bir yayıncı olarak Facebook'a içerik üretip para kazanabiliyor musunuz artık?
Avrupa'da var, Türkiye'de denemeler
Başlandı. Hala bu sayfalar Google'a açık sayfalarsa ve oradaki link Nofollow değilse backlink kazanmış oluyorsunuz Facebook'tan ama sanmıyorum ki Nofollow backlink olmasın. Yani Nofollow'dur büyük ihtimal belki oradaki backlinkler. Evet. Bir örnek varsa bununla ilgili Avrupa'da yakaladığınız bir sayfa mail atma şansınız olursa ben de merak ettim ne tarz sayfalar diye. Çok teşekkürler paylaşma şansınız olursa.
I have a question to you actually. I wonder because you guys is the best with the technical SEO and do you have a new product updates or features? I asked already. Do you have any product updates and new features about technical SEO or another SEO?
Well, DeepCrawl as a tool is all focused on technical SEO. So, but the tool itself is primarily focused in that direction. So, every update that we release is all focused on technical SEO. So, some key things that we've been talking about recently are JavaScript crawling. So in terms of search results optimizing, making sure that your JavaScript pages are appearing in search results and being able to crawl those with JavaScript rendering to try and emulate the way that Google is seeing your pages. And other things like integrations with your different tools. So a big focus, obviously, as I've been talking about, is the search universe. So integrations with your backlink providers and also log files, which are a thing that I think not a lot of people are putting to best use. So there's a lot of information there that we can really dig into and get a good idea of technical SEO from a crawler perspective.
Başka sorusu olan var mı? Okay, we don't have any other question. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz katıldığınız için. Sizleri buraya kadar zahmet verdik, davet ettik. Şeyimiz var.